state in Africa, if it is going to prosper, the tribe must die. He didn't mean that we should remove Baganda or Banyankole or Bachiga. He said, yes, we exist the way we are, but look at interests, what brings us together, yes.
Okay.
We can be of different religious faiths, but what brings us together as Ugandans. So that we look at the prosperity and improve the quality of Ugandans. So that point should be understood.
Yes.
So the president is not lamenting. He's rather saying we have moved a long journey, but as we look towards the horizon, the goal, these are some of the key areas we should focus on. Politics of unity, let's fight corruption, protect the environment, let's invest in infrastructure. So what's wrong with those points?
Let me just
How can you say?
The choice of words,
yes,
what we should focus on,
yes,
as opposed to what we are focusing on. Does that make a difference?
Well, those are semantics.
Really?
Yes. He's saying we are moving and making progress, but he's giving the direction. He's the president, he's the presiding officer of Uganda, and he's saying if we are going to meet that target where all of us want to go, a better Uganda for all of us, let us prioritize, let us focus on these areas. Definitely, a speech from a president must give you a direction. And in his speech, the 8 points, those are the directions he was saying, let's focus on this, then we should be able to attain where we are going. So I find the president's speech okay. It provides sufficient guidance, and the government and all of us should actually implement what is raised.
You sit on the opposition benches in parliament. You're a leader in your political party and in the opposition. You listen to the president speak. Uganda is 61 years old, looking towards the next 61. Comparatively, many people say, but Uganda is not so much different from other African countries. We're still in the same basket. We've had more challenges than many other countries, but we have still managed to make some progress. But do we really speak as a country that is 61 years old, as an independent nation, self-governed? And do we speak like a country that has a clear vision of where it wants to go in the next 61 years?
Mr. Museveni has been in power 60% of our independence time, 60%. He should therefore take the blame for the duration he has been in power. The points that Honorable Chris Wariomusi has made and the content of the president's speech is the same content if you read the manifesto of NRM, if you read his earlier speeches. And that's why the question you had asked earlier of where we should be and where we are was a very valid question. The Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Khalifa, after 20 years in power, handed over to his son, and had in 20 years turned around that country, made it prosperous in 20 years. The speeches of the president when he had just captured power, speeches about South Korea, speeches about many other countries, the point that Chris has made that we are at the same level of growth at the time of independence, and those countries have left us. So what was missing on the points that the president made, that what should have been his last point, is actually to say, I have attempted everything, but for me I have failed. That's why you need someone else. Just imagine if Uganda was a school. So you were a headmaster and then you come say the school is not doing well because of this, not doing well because, so everything is not doing well because of this. And you are appearing either before parents or before the board. We will sack you immediately, you go home.
If you're the one saying that?
If you are, you are the head teacher appearing before us, and you are listing failures and failures. Some of the points that the president made, you don't know who to ask to, because people who have settled in wetlands have done so when Museveni is the president. That Namugongo in my constituency, the whole of Namugongo nearly, was a forest, the biggest chunk of it owned by Kano Chibirigi, 1986 when Museveni went to Luwero to fight. It has now become a town. The other day when you were the president on the radio, he was celebrating because of the settlements between Murago and Gayaza. And I told him, please wait a minute, don't celebrate. We need to destroy them. We need to erase them down to build a city. Because there's a difference between a settlement and a city. So all the points he makes are valid. The only missing point is who do we blame for this?
Is it sufficient to just blame?
Yes, because once, whether you're a company, whether you are a school, whether you are a country, the reason you have a leader is to help you overcome the issues that Mr. Museveni was raising. So he was raising them for who? Does he still have energy to do anything, Mr. Museveni, the way you see him? And is he the right person when you say we want to move?
Before Mr. Museveni, you had 7 others.
So which means that Museveni should stay here, even in his grave, he should be a president.
No, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Yes, how much of the
That's why I said he has been in power for 60% of our time as an independent country. He should therefore take the same blame.
60% of the blame?
Yes, you can no longer blame Obote, Amin, and so on. So when you have been in power for 37 years, so the building of infrastructure, the social infrastructure, corruption, the points that actually he made are points that you need to hand over. This should have been a handover report. That in my term, 37 years, I have failed the following. Those of you who are coming, please, you need to deal with them.
Okay.
But you can't come and outline failures one after another, and then Chris Variomus gives you credit to continue. In fact, Museveni should be blamed. I don't believe that president should go in jail, but I think he should be, by this, he should be handing over to another person and going home.
Kato in Ntinda is watching us and says, all over the country, there are huge structures that were once cotton and coffee ginneries and stores rotting away. Is Ofono Pondo in order to say it is only now that we have them, that they never existed before? Kato in Ntinda is asking. I have someone here says, truth be told, the president has very, very good ideas. And when he talks about them and how to implement them, for a person who has just listened to him, he or she may fail to sleep because of the happiness. But implementing them, that is next to impossible. That's Bahati, who's watching us. I have, this is a long message from Muhimbise, George, who says, Uganda at 61, only 1% of the working age population earn 1 million per month. That 8% of the population are still in the informal economy. We are depending on the colonial education system. Colonialists fund 90% of research in public universities, meaning that they control how much knowledge that we can generate. We are all begging colonialists to fund our budgets through loans and aid. We are begging colonialists to construct for us factories and they repatriate profits back. All major banks, telecom companies, insurance, construction companies, etc. are foreign owned. We run to Middle East for jobs. We borrow from Chinese at high interest rates, use their technology, machinery, labor, etc. for our projects. Are we independent? That's the question that George Muhimbise is asking. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll conclude on this move to discuss the situation between Israel and Palestine.
Frontline. It is time to listen. Uganda Revenue Authority, in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, will launch the URA digital strategy on Friday, 13th of October 2023 at the URA NIP grounds, Nakawa. The URA digital strategy is aligned to the National Digital Transformation Roadmap launched in August 2023 and to broader Uganda Vision 2040. It aims at optimizing URA operations, strategic direction and value proposition through a deep and coordinated shift in tech culture, workforce development and the use of advanced technologies. These include big data analytics, machine learning and artificial intelligence to transform tax administration processes and build an integrated and a secure tax ecosystem. The strategy sets out to deliver near-instant tax services, inclusive solutions for all tax segments, and solid technologies within convenient reach for taxpayers. The exciting, all-encompassing, client-centric goal of this transformation is to create a simplified tax experience near you. This is a hybrid event with a minimum physical attendance and virtual attendance options, namely Zoom, and live streams via LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube by way of URA TV.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Let me take you on a journey through color, discover new world beyond the ordinary. Switch on your imagination, let me take you on a tour. Ordinary is boring, switch it up a bit.
Ordinary is boring, our paint is not. That's why Duracoat Color Mania machine gives you up to 4,000 amazing color shades. Visit your nearest dealer for more information today. Duracoat, ask the experts.
We all need light in this life, and at Lighting City, we make sure we light up your world in the way that you deserve. With the widest range of classy and unique selection from all over the world, with our customized products like Lighting City chandeliers, wall lights, Lighting City outdoor lights, spotlights and strip lights, bedside lamps, floor lights and garden lights. We also deal in electrical items like switches, electrical cables, and so much more. Find us in Kampala, 5th Street, Industrial Area, Chinese Business Hotel, opposite Mosque. Lighting City, the 21st century electrical and lighting store.
We are the passion you've been waiting for! It's Junior Santamu! It's our league, our football, our boys, our style. Start Times UPL new season. Go for it! What a finish from Fukume! The Ugandan flair, Brazilian samba, Portuguese magic, the night football craze. More TV games live on Senyuka Prime and Fufa TV only on Star Times. The Star Times UPL, our league, go for it.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cashback every week. It's free of charge.
Wano nno tuli Bukoto era lero we tugenda ogaba pichi yaffe eri omwanguzi waffe wano we tuzze.
I'm so excited and I'm sure even all the people, all the staff at Kwaliwath, they're all excited. We thank you very, very much.
Myaka 25 nga MTN ewereza naye nga buli week tugaba pichi 5.
Very, very excited. I'm excited about MTN giving back to its customers. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, MTN.
The fact that we have won really shows that people like Mama. Their services are really nice. MTN, your services are okay. The network is good. We are satisfied.
Chikola sense ne?
Use the Momo app or dial *165 *3#. Uganda Revenue Authority, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, will launch the URA digital strategy on Friday, 13th of October 2023 at the URA NIP grounds, Nakawa. The URA digital strategy is aligned to the National Digital Transformation Roadmap launched in August 2023 and to broader Uganda Vision 2040. It aims at optimizing URA operations, strategic direction and value proposition through a deep and coordinated shift in tech culture,
workforce development, and the use of advanced technologies. These include big data analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence to transform tax administration processes and build an integrated and a secure tax ecosystem. The strategy sets out to deliver near-instant tax services, inclusive solutions for all tax segments, and solid technologies within convenient reach for taxpayers. The exciting, all-encompassing, client-centric goal of this transformation is to create a simplified tax experience near you. This is a hybrid event with a minimum physical attendance and virtual attendance options, namely Zoom, and live streams via LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube by way of URA TV.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
It is time to listen.
Frontline.
Welcome back this last segment of the Frontline on NBS television tonight, and we will move the discussion to what is happening in the Middle East, particularly between Israel and Palestine. I've seen a lot of messages. Mwangusha Kenneth, I've seen your message. I have seen a message from so many other different people. But Bate Siraj, I have seen your message. I'm not able to take all these messages tonight. There's so many, and I encourage you to continue this discussion on our social media platforms, on the X platform, on the WhatsApp groups on which we are, on Facebook, and of course, you can catch this show on the Afro mobile app. Let's go to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's one of the most intriguing ones. Some interesting statistics from that country. Many people in these parts of the world pray. That's been the transformation of the nation formerly called Palestine. In green, that was Palestine as of 1946, before the United Nations took a decision, made a resolution to move Israelites that had been wandering across the world, especially after the German Holocaust, to settle them in that area. And what you see in the progressive images is the growth of the Israeli nation and what has been left as the Palestinian nation from 1946 to 2008. Actually, the images I've just seen of as recent as 2018 show a different picture. The small green that you see there on one side is the Gaza Strip, where there is a lot of fighting. On the other side is Egypt. And then the larger portion is what is known as the West Bank, or what is left of Palestine. But Israel is known in the world as one country that has some of the most advanced technologies, especially for surveillance and for intelligence purposes. It has one of the most advanced militaries in the world with support of the West, especially the United States of America, the United Kingdom, and other European powers. And how was Hamas, which is designated as a terrorist organization, manage to break through the defenses that Israel had built? Did they see this coming? Where were the lapses? As we speak now, the death count is over 1,000 Israelis, but also the recent bombing of the Gaza Strip has left more than 1,000 Palestinians dead. Let me start with, let me start and get a government position from the Minister for ICT. The President did issue a statement quite early on when this conflict was beginning about this conflict between Israel and Palestine. What is the government of Uganda's position on that conflict?
Well, let me just give my views. That one, the reason for the conflict is partly the issue of sectarianism, which we'll be discussing, which the President raised. The Jews and the Arabs, as you have given part of the history. And the hatred is quite deep. I have been to Israel several times. It is so deep to the extent that you will find the people in Israel, the adults can dress themselves as if they are from Palestine, and when the school children are moving on the streets, they injure them, so they grow hating somebody who is from Palestine, and vice versa. And vice versa. And therefore, it's very unfortunate that the populations which live near each other can have that kind of hatred that constantly results in death and the kind of destruction which we see. And maybe also the international community, the UN and other international bodies have not in a way helped, because countries also tend to take positions, this versus this, instead of mediating and maybe finding a common ground where the two can come together. And therefore, I think efforts should be pursued from all over, especially the international community, to see that the peace can return, normalcy can return, and the two sides can forge some reconciliation and some kind of consensus.
Dr. Beriomunsi, yes. The creation of the state or the nation of Israel was by a UN resolution.
Yes.
The Israelis were not being taken to a country that was not occupied. And we keep hearing talk about a two-state solution. The president in his communication said we should go back. The international community should go back, and the Israeli and Palestinians should go back to the two-state solution. Looking at that map, is that still viable? And number two, why has it taken so long to implement the two-state solution?
Well, somebody one time in an international meeting joked that there is a roadmap for the pacification of the area, but Israel has the road and then Palestine has the map. And the two cannot connect together to make a roadmap. So I think efforts should continue to be pursued so that the leaders, especially of the two communities, are brought on the table to have that kind of consensus.
Mr. Fonopondo, what can resolve? Is that a situation that can actually be resolved? The current standoff can be, but actually can a permanent solution be found for Israel-Palestine?
You had asked the minister the position of the Uganda government. The position of the Uganda government has been a long-standing one of commitment to the various UN resolutions that haven't been implemented. And what is it? The two-state solution. So that we have the state of Palestine and the state of Israel. And basing on that, including the latest letter the president wrote to the media, is to have a peaceful resolution. And third, because of the consequence of those two, the position of Uganda is actually to recognize the existence of the state of Israel and the state of Palestine. That's the reason why we have the embassy, we have diplomatic relations with the state of Israel, and we also have diplomatic relations with the with the Palestinian Liberation Organization.
The PLO.
You know very well that we hosted here PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. We hosted here many times its founder, Yasser Arafat, may his soul rest in eternal peace, and so on. And we continue with the cordial engagement with both sides. However, this position of the two-state solution has been gravely undermined and destroyed by the dominant world narrative led by the United States. Consequently, Israel has refused to budge, to accept the implementation in any meaningful way of all the UN resolutions. And because Israel is being backed, shielded, funded, armed by the American dominant world narrative, it has disobeyed everything, and therefore, I don't think the two-state solution, especially if you are talking about the territory, physical territory, the land, is any longer viable. So in my view, I think until that world dominant, the dominant narrative of led by the Americans and the Western Europe withdraws, comes back to its senses, then this two-state solution is no longer viable, shouldn't even be accepted by the Palestinians. My personal disappointment is that it looks like, and I see the Russians, I see the Chinese, but I think, in my view, my understanding, I think they are complicit in a way for allowing the American dominant view to undermine the UN resolution, because when they still had way in the UN, Americans vetoed all the resolutions, the most important ones, and China was kind of quiet, Soviet Union was quiet, Russia has been quiet. And now if you look at the world geopolitics, there's going to be a little incentive for rapprochement to come together between particularly the dominant powers in the UN Security Council to go back and say, let us look at the two-state solution in a meaningful way so that the Palestinians can get justice.
If you say it's unviable,
the world has abandoned them. And in my view, I think maybe we need to start another organization. You remember when America was drowning Vietnam in chemical weapons and bombs? Here in Uganda, we had something called the Vietnam Solidarity Movement, led by the late Maombe Mukwana. Maybe, because of the things that are happening now, we need to start a Uganda movement, Friends of Palestine, to bring the consciousness of the world back of the international community. Progressively, I think we can do that. But otherwise, what I see, the Palestinians are now on the... nobody now even wants, because now the dominant view is Palestinians in the name of Hamas are terrorists, and nobody is willing to give public sympathy to them. You can even see in the last 3 days, the last 4 days, people are talking in a double tongue. Nobody wants to be very clear that they are looking only at the massacre of Saturday.
The massacre of Israelis.
Of Israelis in the celebration.
Yes.
But nobody is saying, how did we reach to this point? No government, no leader, very, very few of them, including here. And I think it is a betrayal, I think, driven by the fear of how do we confront the dominant world when we also have our own issues.
Thank you. I have very little time for this part of the discussion, so I'll rush through it. Imam Kasozi, the scale of the violence, the scale of the atrocities, the designation of Hamas as a terrorist organization makes it difficult for the Palestinian people to gain the sympathy and the moral support that they need from the world. How can these two groups find a solution out of this quandary?
I think a solution could probably be there, but it cannot be there because the bigger players are part of the game. I don't know whether you have ever read a book called The Game of Nations. Try to find it and read it. You will understand what goes on in the whole Middle East generally. Number two, in 1987, I witnessed the Intifada. And I was with some Palestinian students. And I asked them, why on earth would you allow those young people with Butida, Zomba, as I call it, Zomba as Butida, a catapult, to attack somebody in a tank or with a gun. Then he asked me, where do you come from? I said, I'm from Uganda. He said, you are lucky. For us, we do not see the difference between life and death because of what we have suffered.
You saw the same scenes in apartheid South Africa.
Now, what I have seen since Saturday, it is a similar scenario, but this time probably somehow advanced. And what they call Hamas is one group, but there are about 10 groups fighting in this thing called now a Hamas attack. All the Palestinians, wherever they are, and they have that ability to support, they are supporting that. Because they think it is the only way, maybe, for others to see what they are undergoing. Because they have been suffocating slowly by slowly, and because when nobody is making noise, when there's no noise, we think things are okay. But then they have also experienced why probably they are doing this. I know retaliation, of course, may bring a lot of costs on their side. But they still think that that could create a new attention of the globe. Irrespective, of course, the tones, all those making comments really think fast, because the issue in Palestine is not between Jews and Palestinians. It is between Zionism against the people of Palestine. It is Zionism.
What is Zionism? What is Zionism?
There's a group of people, Jews, amongst them, extremists, which people don't talk about. Actually, the real terrorists, if I'm to use the word, they are the ones doing this, and they are carrying it over and over. But if it were for the Palestinians, or the Jews and the Palestinians, probably they would find a solution. There are some voices among the Jews who are saying this is not acceptable. And they are standing up even against the big nations. This is not acceptable. But the problem is, all the governments, most of the governments in the West, the leaders there are controlled by this lobby. And it is that lobby that does not mind.
There were major demonstrations in New York, in major world cities.
For ordinary people like me, which is calling up for, we can come and go and demonstrate tomorrow. It may not attract even attention. But of course, as human beings, I back his idea to show sympathy on humanity. But the problem is, as long as we are still controlled economically, politically, militarily, technologically by the dominant West, especially the United States, as he was talking about, we are bound to bow to what their wishes are. Because this problem we see, it is a British-created problem. The British created it. When the Middle East was getting independence, when they were going out, you know what they did? They arranged it in that style to ensure that the Palestinians are subjugated, and then they created this room so the other Zionists jumped on it, and they are pushing it up today.
There was something I was reading about called the Balfour Commission report or something?
Declaration.
Yes, declaration.
Actually, Balfour. Even President Museveni talked about him. But Balfour also had proposed Uganda to be part. I have seen the President Museveni
was one of the suggestions.
Yes, and he said we will be fighting.
Imam Kassozi, just one question before I move to Honorable Winnie and Honorable Semuja, and then we'll close the show. This Hamas attack is unique in many ways. It's never happened. If you look at the numbers, if we're able to display the numbers, every time there's been a clash between Israel and Palestine, the numbers are significant. The numbers of victims, the dead and injured, are significantly skewed on the Israeli side. I mean, on the Palestinian side. Yes. More victims on the Palestinian side than on the Israeli side. This time round, the scale of killing of Israelis was very high. The almost total being taken unawares of the Israeli intelligence and defense systems. What went wrong? Or how was Hamas?
I may not tell you what went wrong. Me as a believer, that is how Allah wished it. But they have also, they are building from, the last time the engagement was between Hezbollah and Israel. And you know what happened during that tunnel thing, the underground thing. So since that time, these ones are also advancing. That's why to me, because with their numbers, whether they are thrown in, with their numbers, the way Israel came up, the Israeli state we know of now, as we know it today, it may be the same way that they may end. Okay. You see, actually one of their own has told them that, this is our last, we are on our last deathbed. I have read a very long story by one of them writing, and he was saying because of this happening, and he proposes that, the better thing is we appreciate, we are people of different maybe backgrounds, it will be different faith, but we should live together. And actually, that's where some people are confused, because they don't know, many people, actually, those who have been affected by terrorism and because of that propaganda, they look at this part of Palestinians as maybe Muslim radicals. But the population of Palestine, about 15% is Christian. Okay. And there are some of them who worship the Jews, but not Zionists, and then
the population of Israel, I was reading, only 1.9% are Christian.
Yes.
Representing about 85,000 people.
Yeah.
We're continuing part of this discussion on the Afro Mobile app. Honorable Winnie Kiza.
NBS Frontline. NBS. Always. Up next. Brought to you by Rock Boom, now in a new bottle with the same taste and same positive energy. Available in a 320 ml PET bottle. Rock Boom, feel the positive energy. This program is rated PG. Parental guidance is advised.